Hello Flosstube, how are you? My name is Sally and I'm Flossie Sews and Grows here on YouTube and on Instagram. Welcome to Flosstube number 62. It is Friday the 11th of July and wow, the last time I was with you was Friday the 6th of June. So yeah, I have been missing in action a little bit. So thank you for joining me. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. I really hope you enjoy listening to me talking about my cross stitch and sometimes my garden and allotment. And if you're a regular subscriber or a regular visitor, welcome back. It's lovely to see you again. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do. It just gives me a little boost to know that what I'm talking about is enjoyed and you like it, and yeah, keeps me going. So I've not filmed for over a month. Life has been a little bit up and down. So yeah, I the last time I was supposed to film, two weeks after my 6th of June, didn't feel great, and had a shower and thought, yeah, I'll have a shower and then I'll film, and kind of quite rapidly went downhill, and felt very, very poorly. Yeah, next day was still quite poorly, so ended up in A&E, which is emergency room for you, those of you in the States. Got really, really well cared for, and luckily my body sorted itself out, and had to have a scan when I was there, and that was all okay, and luckily they sent me home. But felt, yeah, was a pretty rough weekend, but recovered, and yeah, thankfully no kind of long-lasting repercussions to that. But yeah, then kind of 2 weeks on from that, I had a dance show. So my daughter, many of you will know, danced for 8 years, and unfortunately stopped kind of the back end of last year with an injury. But her dance school, her old dance school, was doing a big show at a theatre close by to where we live, and the principal of the dance school asked if I would go and help run backstage, which I loved doing. It was great, really enjoyed it. So it was a dress rehearsal and then 3 nights of shows, and it was actually, I really enjoyed it. It was the year that I've enjoyed the most, I think, because Felicity wasn't dancing, so I could really concentrate on what I was having to do, and not try and kind of help. I never really helped her, but support her and try and watch her dances as well. So it went really well. It took up quite a lot of time though, and yeah, so still managed to stitch, still had some downtime, still managed to stitch. And the weather here in the UK has been brilliant. It's been really lovely, and so I've wanted to get outside, I've wanted to get to the allotment, I've wanted to work on it, and I have, and that's kind of taken over a little bit from last Friday. I thought I'm going to film, and the weather was beautiful, and I was like, no, I need to get to the allotment. And I think I was there most of the morning, got so much done, got home, had a shower, and I was like, no, I'm tired now. I'm really, I've worn myself out, and I just want to stitch. I thought, right, next week. And actually today it is warm. It's already kind of 10 a.m. and I think we're probably at about 24-25 degrees. It's beautiful out there, and I just thought, no, I think it's a bit too warm today. I prioritizing filming today. So it's lovely to be back. It does mean, as I've not filmed for over a month, I've not stitched quite as much, but I have still stitched every day. Even the day that we ended up at A&E, we were there, we saw a doctor quite early in the morning who sent me straight to A&E, and we were there for, I mean, we had to wait 5 hours before I actually saw a doctor in A&E. It was so warm, and I hadn't taken stitching because I couldn't even put a sentence together actually that morning. So I was very lucky. My wonderful partner looked after me very well. But in the evening we got home and he cooked some food, and I did say I think I might have got about 5 stitches in, but I am stitching. I am going to get some stitches in. So I've not missed a day's stitching, but I've perhaps just done not quite as much. One thing I have done a lot of is new starts. So I've got a finish to show you. I have got a silly number of new starts, and I blame quite a lot of my friends. It's all the encouragement they're all giving me, and I do have quite a lot of progress on my whips. So the first thing I'm going to show you though is I've got a couple of bits of Stitchy Kindness, but I want to show you one first. This arrived yesterday. I won this beautiful, beautiful project bag from Oh So Alison. She did a giveaway on Instagram and it's absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful fabric inside and caravans on the front and back. Beautiful little label, and then I just love this little, I mean, summery strawberry cake little charm with it, and a little leather tag for opening and closing. So it's absolutely gorgeous. You can find Alison at Oh So Alison on Instagram and on Facebook, and she does have a website which is www.ohsoalison.co.uk. She's gorgeous little card with a little note on the back. So thank you, Alison. I love it. Absolutely chuffed to bits that I won it. And quite a few of my new starts are in cheapy Amazon project bags because I have so many. I've run out of project bags. So this is going to be put to good use straight away with a summer project going in that one. So no FFOs. I still have my plan to get some more work done on my box of doom and have lots of fully finished objects that I can then do a whole video on what I've finished and how I've done it, and hopefully give you some inspiration and some ideas. So the box of doom stitched of fully finished objects is to come, but I think, you know, we're kind of thinking now. I planned to do it around the end of May, hadn't I? Maybe September, October, when it gets a bit cooler and there's a bit less gardening to be done. And yes, so no FFOs, but I do have a finish. And this is a bit of a this one was I think I started stitching to try and finish it in May when I was doing Monogamous May. I was trying to get a project and stitch on it until it was finished. And I think this was the last one. So I did have in total five. Is this the 5th or the 6th one that I finished kind of May, beginning of June? So this is Barbara Anna Light. And it's a freebie. So you can get this if you go to Barbara Anna's Instagram page and go to her link tree. You should be able to download it from there. Now I love this. This is one of the stitches that Sarah and I did last year. So Sarah at Sew Me Sarah, as part of our Fun for 50 Sal. This is one of the ones that we did together, and so many of you have joined in with this one. There's so many beautiful versions of it. I've stitched it on a 36 count. It was a fabric of the month by Fabrics by Crafty Kate, and I believe this is now in her, you can now get this in her range. I do think she does dye it. I did my own colours on this, very much influenced by Jacintha from Crafting on the Plains. She'd used, I think this is Cinnamon Toast, I think she'd used it in the dress, and I decided I wanted to use it, and I ended up using it the arms of the dress and in some of the stars. And then this is Classic Colourworks, I think it's Midnight. Just, yeah, and I changed the leaves are a bit more aquary colour on the for the called for. I made them green and changed I think I changed the colours of the berries a little bit as well. Just, yeah. So absolutely, I'm thrilled to bits with this one that I finished it, and I think that will be framed. So yeah, so that is my one finish for since I last spoke to you. So starts. I'm almost a little bit embarrassed that I have so many stars. Now I've got a cup of coffee. I absolutely meant to drink this before I started filming and pressed go and hadn't drunk it, so I'm going to have some before it goes cold. Because it's a decent coffee. I've made myself a decent coffee today because it's my day off, so I deserve one. So new start. Yes, a little bit of a crazy time. Now I think the last time I spoke to you, I was just about to start this one. I hadn't actually started it. I think I started the same day that I filmed. And this is Twilight Moon from Tiny Modernist. And this is part of the Night Garden palette from Threadworks, which was kind of presented by X Stitch the Rainbow. So this was the chart. And these are the Threadworks colours. So they came as a pack, and actually they're 20 meters, so they're great. You know, I think if you wanted to use one for a monochromatic, you know, they're great. I think I bought these from 123 Stitch because I've been kindly gifted a voucher for Christmas on my birthday by one of my friends. So I thought these were great to buy because I think they were a Nashville exclusive, and a little bit more difficult to get hold of in the UK. So I thought they were a great purchase to get. So I think they were $20, which I think for 4 lots of 20 meters each is pretty good value. So those are the threads, but I've got mine. I've just put what I need on a little tiny floss drop, and I'm stitching this on a 36 count Edinburgh linen from Silk Weavers, which I bought on a D-stash. And here is my progress. So I've done pretty well. I thought I'd ironed this. Maybe not one of the ones that I'd ironed. Let's just turn it round and see if that's slightly better. There we go. So as you can see, I mean, it doesn't look like there's a huge amount of variegation in these, but there is. The creamy beigey colour is beautiful for the moon. Absolutely adore this. So I am stitching this. I've been joined, well actually Ellie Welly Stitcher, Elaine, joined me. She saw me showing that I'd bought the chart on my Flosstube and she went and bought it. So she's stitching it. I think she started somewhere different from me. I think she started at the bottom. And then my friend Isadora, who's in the Netherlands, she bought another chart from the series by Manny de Donna, and she has now finished it. So she, on Instagram, Isadora is in the House of Aquarius. So go and have a look at her finish. It's beautiful. So yeah, I think this will be a finish quite soon. This has been one I've had downstairs, and just when I'm tired, it's a 36 count. Some quite nice, some little intricate bits with the flowers, but then there is also some block stitching with that moon. So that's been quite a good one to stitch in the evening when I'm a little bit tireder. So yeah, hopefully I think this will probably be put at the top of the pile now to get it finished, actually, because yes, I have got quite a few whips now, and it's just, yes, it's getting a little bit that I have too many, and I'll want to yeah start whipping down a little bit. So that was start number 1. Start number 2 is part of my Best for British sale, where I'm trying to stitch as many British designers as I can this year, and probably ongoing. We've got some great British designers. So this one is Going Coastal by Love Poppet, and the designer is Claire, and I've had the pleasure of meeting Claire at Stitch in London last year, and we got on like a house on fire, so that was really lovely, and I love this one. I had real ambitions actually of stitching it on, I think is it Laura Stitching by the Shore, who's stitched a Cottage Garden Samplings lighthouse, and she stitched it on a very dark blue fabric, kind of aquary, really, and I thought how stunning that looked, and I had a fabric that a fabric of the month from Crafty Kate that I thought was perfect for it, and I just yeah, I might say I might do that same chart that Laura's done. And so I used another fabric from Crafty Kate actually on this one instead. And I think actually this is a great one actually. I think it's perfect. So not too bad a start actually. So I'm stitching it on 36 count Stormy Sky by Kate, but I don't think it's stormy enough that you know, it's a sunshiny, happy seaside, happy sea chart, not stormy. So I think, yeah, I think it's perfect. Now I am using the called for DMC on this, although I think that I was missing that very dark colour, so I've substituted it with something else, and I then used, I think, the called for the lighter colour. And I think actually I might have stitched it and pulled it out because I think they were too close. So actually I'm going to go a shade lighter. So using the call for colours apart from the sea because, yeah, I didn't have the colours. But so I'm changing them a little bit. But that is okay. I'm allowed to do that. But they are beautiful summery colours. And I'm being joined on this one by Karen at the Stitching Owl. Karen is a great supporter, always comments on my floss tubes, and it's been great to actually start something with her. And Karen also has a wonderful floss tube herself, so she's Canadian based, and go and have a watch. So that's the Stitching Owl. Next, so this is another one that I said I would start with a friend. I already had these charts and absolutely adored them. You will have seen I've already stitched spring, and this is summer. So this is Blue Jay Summer from the Seasonal Courier series from Robin Pickens, and I'm stitching this with my friend Marianne as part of her hashtag milestone birthday Sal 2025. So, and it's actually Marianne's birthday on Friday, so you'll hear a little bit about that in my plans later. So here is my progress so far. This, oh, just, I could have carried on stitching on this actually, but I decided it's one that might be good for taking on holiday. So I thought I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop, try really hard not to stitch it and take it away and stitch it on holiday. So I'm stitching this with West Green Loft yarn 36 count fabric called Cassandra. And for inspiration on this, if you'd like some inspiration, please go and watch Amanda at Alba Stitches. Amanda stitched these as well, and she'd already inspired me with the different coloured fabrics that she'd used. So I think on spring I've used a bit of a pinky coloured one. On this one it's a bit more yellowy, and then autumn and winter I've also picked West Green Loft yarn fabrics, which have been fabrics of the month. So I've got 4 different colours, but Amanda has just had hers framed, and she's had them framed together, and it is just, it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. So congratulations, Amanda, on a wonderful, wonderful stitch, and it just looks amazing. I don't know if I'll have it framed similarly. I might have to take it to Chris at Nimble Thimble and see what she thinks and if she can do it for me. Or maybe have them done in 4 across. I don't know. Haven't decided yet because I've still got to stitch the other autumn and winter as well. So you know it's going to be, and I'm starting them on. So I started spring on the first day of spring. I started this summer one on the summer solstice. So that was the 21st of June in the UK, and yeah, and so obviously I'll start autumn and winter on the first day of autumn, the first day of winter. So still got a bit of time to decide and to get them stitched. But yeah, go and watch Amanda. It was wonderful to see her fully finished framed stitch of all 4 together. I am using the called for DMCs on this. Again, lovely summery palette. Although I think there was one that I was missing. and I found Weeks Dye Works pumpkin to substitute to go in there instead. I think it's perhaps a colour that there's not actually an awful lot of. I can't remember, but beautiful palette of colours, and in DMC as well, which is always helpful. But I'm finding it so much easier now just to go in and substitute something. If I haven't got something, I've got a DMC chart with the thread colours in, and I'm quite happy to go in and, you know, I've grown in confidence on picking colours and putting colours together, and like with the Barbara Anna Light, a completely different colour palette to the original, and yeah, I really enjoy putting that together, and you know, I've got so many beautiful threads that I've been gifted, you know, so not to go with any particular pattern, so it's great to be able to use them and put them into projects and use them as substitutes and things like that, and yeah, not just have them on the wall behind me. So that was start number 3. Start number 4. Just, yeah, I really felt in June I wanted to get seasidey and summery. So Seaside Town was up next, and Keely at Cakes and Stitches had also got this, so we decided to start it together. Beautiful. I love the tiny towns. I have also stitched Blooming Tiny Town and Honey of a Tiny Town, and I've got Frosty, I think, to do at some point as well. So yeah, so very tiny start, very tiny start. I think was this start around the time of the show, maybe, so I didn't have an awful lot of time, but I made a start. I did make a start. I'm stitching this on its 35 count raw linen, and I have pulled the called for DMCs, but actually I will, again, I'll change the colours where I think. So I think so for example, if you can see the lighthouse here, can you see the top of the lighthouse? It's a kind of almost rusty kind of pink colour. Now, that's what the called for was for the stripes as well, and I kind of felt, well, I think the roof might have that kind of slightly different tinge to it, so I'm going to leave the roof as that colour, but actually I want some quite bright red stripes on the lighthouse, so I changed that colour, and I think it looks better. And you know, it can vary if you're not using the call for linen, which often don't, because sometimes it's harder to get hold of the linen in the UK than it is in the States. So although I think this could be, oh, it's a Witchelt. Naturally, so it's the called for is 32 count natural brown undyed linen. So you know, it's a Witchelt though, which is, you know, it's not too dissimilar. Mine is the Zweigart equivalent, so 36 count, no, 35 count I said, didn't I? So not too dissimilar, but you know, I think sometimes just colour preferences and what looks better on your linen and what you like to do, and yes, that's all fine. And there we go. So that was that new start. Then the first day of Wimbledon is strawberry season for us here in the UK. We go mad about our strawberries, and my friend Sarah had been gifted this chart and decided she was going to start it, so I said I'll come and start it with you, as did Tracy, who is Darth's Knitty Wife on Instagram. So this Sarah is Cross Stitch Sarah. So this is Strawberry Harvest by Cottage Garden Samplings, and it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, love, love, love. So we started this on the first day of Wimbledon, and here is my, again, smallish start. I made it, it's not too small actually, it's not too bad, not too shabby a start. This is on a Fabrics by Crafty Kate Fabric of the Month, and yeah, just a gorgeous kind of beigey purple mix, lilac-y, and yeah, So I pulled the DMCs for this and then decided to go my own way. So the call for DMCs, again, well, it is mainly DMCs, but there are two fancy flosses. So there's a Gentle Arts Antique Rose, which I had, and the other one is Faded Rose, which I didn't have. So that DMC is the equivalent. So these were the colours for the strawberries. Now, I felt that because the Antique Rose, there was a little bit of crossover almost. The lighter colour of it was almost the same as that DMC. And I felt they were just a bit too pink for strawberries. I like my strawberries when they're a little bit, that bit riper and a little bit brighter. And so I actually asked my daughter what colour palette she thought and what would the strawberries look better. And she picked these two colours. So both DMCs, but as you can see, a bit brighter, and I felt a bit more strawberry coloured. And then the other colour that I've decided to use for the green was a Cottage Garden Thread Meadow, which came in a pack that I won from them earlier this year and I hadn't yet used. And I thought, great, perfect opportunity to use it. So those are the colours I've pulled so far. There are some other colours in the project bag that I have pulled but not yet put on a ring, but as I go, I will just pull the colours that I want for that I think look best. But I think those are the kind of main three colours anyway. The green and the two pinks. You know, the browns in the bird and the yellow for the. I was going to say for the beak, but actually it's the bottom of the strawberry urn of strawberries there. You know, those I've probably got the DMCs and they'll probably be the perfect colour. But yeah, it's just choose as I stitch, because why not? So good start on that so far, and I know both Sarah and Tracy have started on it, but I can't think that I've seen their progress this week to see how far they've got with it. But it's been a busy work week actually. So yes, there is one more thing actually that's taking up quite a lot of my time. I am doing some professional training at work, and I have to sit a luckily multiple choice exam, so at least there's a 1 in 4 chance of me getting the answer right, and I've got to sit that by the end of August. So actually I have been trying to study as well. Yeah, it's time has come round so quickly, so quickly. So that's a little bit of added pressure for me. That doesn't, nevertheless, hasn't stopped me from doing new starts though. And another lovely friend I'm doing this one with, who I'm going to blame. So this is again Jacinta at Crafting on the Plains. We decided to start this one together. So it's Wee Santa 2023 from Heart in Hand. And I'd had this one a while. I've done another Wee Santa of, is it? That's the one I've done. That was 2022. So I enjoyed stitching the Santa, but I didn't enjoy stitching the bits around it. So I think the flowers are going to be much more me. So again, just a wee start. Which way up does it go? Goes that way. So I've started on his jacket. There we go. Nice little start. Now Jacinta started with his face, so she did, I think, his hat and his beard. So it looked, you could tell what it was going to be. You can't so much with mine. But I've made a start, and so it's a bit of a Jolly July stitch. We haven't got a hashtag for it. We're just stitching because we want to. I've got a mix of the Call for Fancy Flosses for that and DMC. Again, there's a few I haven't yet pulled because I haven't got the fancy floss. So just when I come to it, I'll find a DMC that I think looks good. I think that's something I find with Heart in Hand, that if you stitch all of the fancy flosses, the colours are pretty good. But I think when you start putting in having the fancy floss plus some DMC, then perhaps they don't always mix as well. If you do it in one or the other, great, but if you start mixing them, I think that's where I seem to struggle, that the colours perhaps aren't quite as right. So I'll use the fancy flosses that I've got, and then I'll just put in the DMCs. Whether it might be the equivalent that Cecilia's given, or it might be something else, doesn't matter, just as long as it looks nice at the end of the day. That will keep me happy. So that's another one I think that will be a relatively quick stitch. So that would be definitely nice to finish and have fully finished to have on the wall for Christmas. Oh, and I've stitched that, so it's a 40 count light exemplar linen from Lakeside Linen that I got on a D-stash. Second to last new start. So I was really kindly gifted the pumpkin patch stitch along by Historic Sampler Company. Really pleased. I love Halloween. I really love Halloween. So when they asked if I'd like to have this one to talk to you about and also to stitch myself, I was like, yes, please, absolutely, 100%. So this is a beautiful, beautiful kit. So I've had the kit. So they have sent me the linen. Oh, and I've had the 32 count linen. So I'll show you my start in a minute. The ghost needle minder, who was very cute. I've just knocked the back off it, so let's put somewhere safe. And oh, what have I done with it? Oh, it's in here with the threads. So beautiful moon thread keep, wooden moon thread keep. Love it. And I did debate putting the threads on it, but actually these paper cards that they do are really handy, and yeah, you get all the threads, all the DMC there, all numbered nicely and labelled. Beautiful. I'm doing a Just Show Sherry, aren't I? She's been telling us we shouldn't be fiddling with our threads too much because we get the oils off our hands on them. So I need to stop too, Sherry. I need to listen to Sherry and do a Sherry says. So these cards are great. So beautiful, beautiful palette there. Now I couldn't decide whether I was going to stitch on the fabric that they sent, or stitch something, or do it on a fabric from stash, and actually decided to go with the fabric that they had sent. And so this is my start. Now, had a little dilemma. So you all know I stitch one strand over two. So because I predominantly like stitching on 36 and 40 count, really only like stitching with one strand of DMC. So 10 to on 32 count, I will stitch with one strand, but it does look kind of more primitive and a little bit more, you know, it's not quite as colourful, doesn't stand out quite as much. So you can see the white on this border perhaps doesn't stand out quite as much. So I did worry a little bit about this little ghost and thought, oh, how is he going to stand out? So I decided to stitch 2 strands over 2 for the little ghost. Well, it's white, so that doesn't help, does it? But my stitches look atrocious. And then I happened to move across to stitch some of this side last night and happened to just put my hoop on that ghost, which then distorted some of those stitches. So that little ghost I think is going to come out. And what I might do instead, rather than restitching it with one dog barks around here, the whole lot then start. Can you hear them? It's like a singing chorus of barking dogs. One that side, one that side. So what I think I'll probably do, will rip that out. And I won't restitch it in one strand. What I think I'll do is stitch it in, I've got some Etoile, which is white with a bit of sparkle. And I just, yeah, hopefully then that little ghosty will stick out a little bit more. But this is a beautiful, beautiful stitch along. So it started on the 7th of July. So if you'd like to join me, there's a few other stitchers who I think are stitching it. I think Sarah, Cross Stitch Sarah, is stitching it. Not sure who else, but there's a few of us. I imagine Kim at Stitchy Squirrels will be stitching it. So yeah, so if you'd like to come and join me, in stitching this, you can still buy it. So it came out, the first part came out on the 7th of July, which was Monday just gone. It's a 4-part, so it's released, the parts are released every 2 weeks, so there's another 7 weeks to go. And you can still buy the kit, which I got, so the fabric, the threads, the needle finder and the thread keep. You can still buy these on the Historical Sampler Company website, or you can still get the PDF. Just bear in mind, you will get, if you get it, say for example today, you'll just get part 1. If you get it in 3 weeks time, you'll probably get part 1 and part 2. So you still will have the parts released to you as they are released to everybody else. So you can still get it, so you can still join in on that one. So it'd be lovely if you could. Going to just pop, because again, shortage of project bags. I'm using the envelope to keep this one in, so it's quite good because then I know what it is. So that was my penultimate start. So I have one more to show you, and this last one was completely unplanned, completely and utterly unplanned. I was on a Zoom call with some of my stitchy friends at the weekend. And I don't know how it came about, but we started talking about Blueberry Ridge designs, and I've got one to show you in my haul, one that I bought from so it's Emily, Pengali. I believe she's the daughter of I can't remember the lady's name. I think it begins with an L. She's the daughter of the designer for Pansy Patch quilts. And I love both of them. I love both the designs that they do. They're really quite a bit prim but cutesy, and just really lovely. So we were chatting about her. One of my friends was stitching one of her Emily's summer chart, and I'd got the winter, and I've just bought the Halloween, which I'll show you in my haul. And I'd got 2 others that I'd been kindly gifted by one of my lovely friends earlier in the year. And so we were just chatting. We were all talking about which of the charts we'd had and which we'd like to do. And suddenly there was we need to do a stitch along. And the decision was made that it was National Blueberry Day on either Tuesday or Wednesday. Now, don't ask me which country it was National Blueberry Day in. Doesn't really matter. It was National Blueberry Day somewhere in the world. So that made it a perfect day for a new start. So, it was a completely and utterly unplanned new start. And luckily, I had plenty of fabric in my stash. And luckily, I had all the core 4 threads. I think bar 1 actually for this one. So, the Blueberry Ridge design chart that I decided I was going to stitch as part of the stitch along was House on Blueberry Hill, which was kindly gifted to me by a lovely friend. You know who you are, thank you very much. So yeah, and here is my start. Now it's on a massive humongous piece of fabric, so here's my start. This the fabric it's Pemberley by Swan Bay Fabrics. Oh, it's just beautiful. 36 count. And I decided I thought I'm not going to cut it down just yet. What I might do is I was gifted this one too by the same friend. I also have Strawberry Hill, House on Strawberry Hill, and there are 2 others. There's House on Kiwi Hill and Pomegranate as well. They're stunning. They're absolutely beautiful. So I think eventually I would like to stitch all 4, and I probably so the called for on these are actually for House on Blueberry Hill. It's actually Oaken by Picture This Plus, and Strawberry Hill is Legacy by Picture This Plus. But actually, I don't know, I think they look really similar. And although this hasn't got quite as much mottling as those, I think this is a perfect colour of fabric to use. So I will use all of this fabric on all 4 of the houses when I get to the others. But so fabulous start. As I said, I was really lucky that I'd got all of the DMC. already, although the blue I didn't have, but I had the Weeks Dye Works blue jeans. There was the equivalent. And then there was another blue that I didn't have, but Cottage Garden Threads Midnight is a fabulous substitute for the colour. So I went with that, substituted that one in there. So beautiful colours. I think you will agree. So that was my final new start, which was very, very last minute. Had a day to kit it up, and yes, my friends are very, very wonderful, but very, very naughty. And there are some. Have a look. I think I've shared a few of the pictures from some of those friends on my stories on Instagram. But yes, I think there's another friend is stitching House on Blueberry Hill, the same as me. A couple are stitching. There's a nature one with a butterfly, or is it a dragonfly on it? It's beautiful. Rebecca's stitching the Halloween one that I've got, and she's stitching it on the same Fabrics by Crafty Kate fabric that I'm stitching Strawberry Harvest on, and it looks great. Someone else is stitching the Christmas one. So yeah, they're all fantastic. And I think there was even somebody who was on the call who wasn't on the call that night, but obviously we have a little chat for the call as well, who is also starting. Because one of us, I think actually I'd put, for those who weren't on the call tonight, this is what we've decided to do. We're starting tomorrow if anyone wants to join us. And I think, yeah, certainly one friend has done that. So yeah, great fun. So a new start I probably could have done without, but ho hum, it's fun. And yeah, if your friends can't encourage you, then who can? I was going to stitch it at some point, just a little bit sooner now than I had thought. So those are all my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 starts. Yeah. So I haven't got very many whips. I have actually. I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whips. 5 whips. That's not too bad. Not too bad. So my first whip, I thought I ought to make some progress on the Secret Garden from this was the stitch along from Historical Sampler Society in, when did this one start? May? Can't remember. A while ago. It's all been released now. I'll pop a picture of what it will look like when it's fully finished, or well, at least finished. Just trying to think if I've got a, I'm sure I have a picture from somebody. And if it's one I've had to steal, so there's a wonderful Facebook page for the Historic Sampler Society stitch alongs. Go and have a find of that, where people put their pictures, and there's a few ladies that have recently fully finished this and made cushions. I think somebody's done a project bag front, so some really, really inventive and really beautiful fully finishes of this. So it's great to be a member of that group, because you can see that, and it encourages you to pick it up. I'll also put a picture of this where it was the last time I stitched on it. I think I'd come to a little bit of a standstill with it, because I'd stitched the birds incorrectly and needed a frog, and so I think I got the 5th part. So this was a 5-part stitch along, and I think when I got the 5th part, I put it into Pattern Keeper or markup, can't remember which one. I was like, right, actually I can get going with this now, because I've got it all and I can rectify the mistakes that I've made. So I have made a decent amount of progress. I have stitched this vase over here and quite a lot of the flowers going up. I've stitched the fox and the squirrel, and yeah, I've kind of done a few of the bits around here I hadn't quite filled in. Now I swapped out the fabric on this, so I'm stitching this on Weeks Dye Works parchment. It's old Weeks, but it's pretty nice. And this has been actually quite a nice evening stitch as well. Haven't stitched on it for maybe a week or two actually, But yes, when it's quite a nice evening stitch as well, being 35 count, it's quite easy to see when I'm stitching downstairs and I haven't got my decent light that I have up here. Oh yeah, and that was I think I'd started on that there. that butterfly there as well. So, you know, I've made a reasonable amount of progress on it. I think because it's on Pattern Keeper or Markup, I can't remember which one. I think I'm about 50% actually. So, you know, making fair progress on it. Beautiful colours, summary colours on that, and that came also with a little squirrel needle minder. So you can still buy this as the kit that I've got on the Historical Sampler Company website, or you can buy the PDF. So the PDF is now complete because all the parts have been released, so you'd get the full chart in one go on that one. So there is that one. Next up we have the Quacker. So the Quacker stitch along. So this is hashtag Quackalong. It's by Mikael at Star Parade Designs, and I think you've heard the story before. Quite a few of us, well, in fact our whole table at the Big Stitch last year went a bit quackers over this one, and we all decided to start it and aim to have it finished for Big Stitch next year. So, which I've got my ticket. Did you manage to book one? Are you going? Let me know down below if you're going to be there so I can come and say hello. That'd be great. I loved it last year and it has sold out already, but there will be a waiting list. You know, people's lives change, things happen, people do drop out. So if you really want to go and you weren't able to get a ticket, or you didn't know about it, go and have a look at the Big Stitch website. I'll pop the website address here. I'm sure it's something very simple like bigstitch.co.uk, but I'll just confirm that. But there will be a waiting list, so if you haven't managed to secure a ticket and you'd like to go, pop yourself on the waiting list because you just don't know what might happen. But really looking forward to that. Really, so Stacey Nash was announced as a designer just as the tickets went on sale, and I'd kind of, for one reason or another, I'd kind of figured this out. I'm not going to go into my story of how I knew this, but yes, a friend of mine and I had done a bit of detective work at some point, and yeah, we're pretty confident that Stacey Nash was going to go, and also Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery will be there as well. And yeah, love Jacob's designs, and he's a great guy, so it would be lovely to catch up with Jacob again. So I am stitching this. This is what it looked like the last time you saw it. I'm stitching it on 40 count Aqua by Zweigart. I'm stitching it all with Roxy Floss Co threads. These are the ones that I'd kind of picked out in mind to stitch with it. My little ring bling there from Laura at Cotton and Clay, who is also stitching it. So these are the colours that I thought I will use, but I also have the rest of my Roxy Floss Co collection, which at some point, you know, some of these colours may go in as well. We're just seeing how we go. So here is progress so far. So since you saw it last, I've put in this red, or started on that red Quaker there. I have put in this aqua blue one at the bottom, and then I finished these pesky leaves. Oh, I didn't like stitching those at all. They kind of got me a few times. That I really had to concentrate. So it had to be stitching when I was fresh, and yeah. I've still got a few bits of pink in here to finish, and then that one is complete, but making great progress. Now, my aim for this was to stitch 785 stitches in June, but it didn't quite happen. I only managed to do 619, with just, you know, the way June was. It just didn't quite get done, but that's okay. I will hopefully, July I think is going to be a bit sticky as well actually. So I'll just do what I can, and I'll just have to make them up later in the year But I think I'm quietly confident I will have this finished for Big Stitch next year. I think actually I had done my figures up till May, so that I had a month to get it kind of fully finished and decide what I wanted to do with it. So that, you know, actually I can get it framed. It'd be great to take it to Big Stitch framed. But so I have got, you know, Big Stitch is actually at the end of June, so I have got time that if it all kind of goes a bit pear-shaped, I can add in June to get some stitches in it as well. So yeah, I'm confident that I will get it finished. And it's in a gorgeous ducky bag that my friend Lindsay made me, she's the Cheshire Stitcher. Oh, there's a few things on the floor there that I've been dropping as I've been going on, so it's going to be a bit of a clear up. Have you noticed I have managed to get things back in project bags as I've gone? So it's not, they've all gone into I have 2 boxes. I have one box that has all my whips that I'm not working on. So as I pack them up, I put them back in there. So everything's, you know, now not worked on because I filmed. And then as I pull them out, I put them into another box so that I know what I have to show you on my next Flosstube. I mean, I've got tick boxes, I've got lists as well. But yeah, that was an idea I got from Sherry at Just So Sherry. She showed us one day. She had an area where I think she had her project bags one side with all her whips in that she'd not stitched on, and as she stitched on them, she moved them to the other side so that she knew what she had to pull out to show on a Flosstube. So that was a great idea, so I kind of stole it. So the next whips I had were my whip goes for June, and both of these came under the hashtag Best of British Style because they're both British designers. So first of all is Spring on Lock Lane by the Old Barn Stitch Company, and love this one. I'm stitching this again with Keely from Cakes and Stitches. We have quite similar likes in what we like stitching, and so we decided to do this one together. I think Keely has actually done a lot more stitching than I have. I have most of the called for threads. My particular favourites are the fancy flosses on this, Cottage Garden Thread, Elderberry, Vintage Rose, and then I love this colour. This is Bejeweled by Classic Colourworks. Just, oh, it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. And I'll have shown you a picture of where it was the last time you saw it. I'm stitching it on a 36 count. I think it's 36 count. It's either 36 or 40. Could be 40. Can't remember. Here we go. I've made quite a lot of progress. So I've definitely done all of this and all of this. I think the house and this border in particular had taken up quite a bit of time. But I think once I'd kind of got into the swing, sorry, hanging thread, once I'd got into the swing of this border, I've managed to get on and get some progress. And then this, yeah, these were quite satisfying big bits of stitching that I managed to do quite easily, although I have made a mistake in that flower. I think, did I frog it? Yeah, no, I have made a mistake, and I'm not going to tell you where because I can't actually see it unless I really look at it. So I've just fudged it. I think there's an extra stitch in there somewhere. It's okay. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Really enjoying it. The problem is, you know, I want to, excuse me, I'm just going to shut the window because, can you hear? Someone's mowing their lawn. We don't want to be hearing that, do we? The problem with having so many projects is that you always want to work on all of them and you have to make a choice. And then when I do get things out to show them to you, I'm like, oh, you know, I haven't worked on this. So this was whip going June, so I haven't worked on it since June. Now I'm like, I really want to stitch on that again, but I've got other things I need to stitch on too. So yeah, but lovely design, really enjoyable stitch. My other whip go for June, actually I didn't. So whip go this year, I have managed to do brilliantly. So my plan for whip go was that I would have 2 projects a month when the numbers are called, and I would stitch on both of those projects for 5 sessions, and I've managed to do it every single month apart from June. And Cabin in the Woods, I got 4 sessions stitched in June, and then I stitched on it in early July as well. So I'll show you, excuse me, or I will have shown you a picture of what it looked like last time you saw it. And it doesn't look like I've made a huge amount of progress, but I have. There's been quite a lot of stitches going into it. I've managed to finish this tree. I've done quite a couple of rows down here, and I think this tree and this is all new from last time as well. So I haven't actually noted how many stitches I did on in Whip Go, because I have got it on Pattern Keeper, so I could have told you that, but feel like I've made a good amount of progress. So I'm stitching this on, this is the one I haven't written down. Oh yes I have, it's 40 count Mansfield Stone from Swan Bay Fabrics. It's one of my favourite colours, I think, from Swan Bay Fabrics. Let's see if I can hold it up. It is a kind of mauvey, lilac-y grey. I love it. I love it. I have a fat quarter of it as well. This is a 40 count. I've got a fat quarter in the 36 count. But I do, yeah, one of my favourite colours. And did I say it's by Flossabilities? Cabin in the Woods by Flossabilities. Beautiful, called for DMCs. I've got quite a good stash of DMC, thanks to my lovely friend Whitney in America, who last year brought me over. I think I ended up with Whitney and another friend, Ruth, who also sent me over some threads. I think I ended up with about 140 new DMCs last year, from just the two of them. So very lucky, very lucky. But I do have quite a good stash, so I normally do have managed to do the called fors if I want to, which I have done on that one. So very enjoyable. Again, love doing that. And yeah, I want to get back to that one soon. So my whip goes for July. I have started already with 2 sessions on this first one. So the numbers I think were pulled were 2 and 21, can't remember, but one of them was this one. It's the Rainbow Quacker. Ducks on my mind. It's the Rainbow Quaker. This is what it will look like when it is finished, and this is where I am. And I'll also do where I was last time you saw it, and this is where I am now. So I've only done 2 sessions on it, and what I've done is I've completed this square here, gone down into this square, I've completed this square and gone down here, and then I've done some more on this square. So not a huge amount, not a huge amount. I must admit, I bought the PDF of this and actually printed it out, because at the time I didn't have Pattern Keeper or didn't have markup, and I've tried to get it into both Pattern Keeper and markup and just miserably failed. So I think I would perhaps be stitching it a little bit quicker had I been able to get it in on one of those programs, but I'm back to stitching it from paper, and that is not the right way up. That is the right way up. There we go. So yeah, but it's beautiful. I'm stitching it on a 36 count white linen. As you can see, it is going to be pretty big, and I'm stitching it with CXC threads. Actually, I was kindly gifted these by Amanda, who was giving them away on her, I think, did she give them away on her Instagram? And I won. So she was stitching this same chart with some friends, so I said, well, I'm going to do it as well. So I think they've all finished. Well, I'm very behind, but they're beautiful colours. I'm enjoying stitching with the CXC. I do find it harder. I stitch with really tiny 26 or 28 needles from Pony, the really tiny ones. And I do sometimes struggle to thread my needle with these. They like to split, but you know, they're great to stitch with. I won't collect them because I've already got such a big collection of DMCs. But if you were doing a full coverage, and you had a lot that you needed, they're a lot cheaper than DMC. I think they'd be great. I've no qualms in using them again, and well, the colours are just fantastic for this. Really enjoying it. So that is the Rainbow Quaker, and that is by the Vivsters. So that's another one that actually I started last year as part of my Fun for 50 sale with Sarah last year, but actually, it's a British designer, so that fits in really well this year with the Best of British sale. And I would eventually, at some point, like to stitch the Welsh Dragon flag. I always have this joke with my friends, my friends who are kind of live quite locally, who I see at Cheshire Stitchers regularly. There's a table that when I go, I sit on the same table with the same people because they're my friends, and all of them stitch dragons. I'm the only one that doesn't stitch dragons because they're not my thing, and that's fine. We all like different things. However, the one dragon I will stitch is the Welsh dragon on the Welsh flag. So yeah, at some point I'd really like to do that, but not yet. I have enough. So my other whip go for July will be, and I haven't done any of it yet, Santa and the Woolmaker, from Hello from Liz Matthews and Kathy Barrick. It's a joint collaboration, and I'll show you where I am so that next time you can see how much progress I have made. So there we go. So there's still quite a lot to do on this one. So did I buy this at Jingle Ball 2 years ago? And you can now, it was exclusive for a while, you can now buy it. I think it came out at Nashville this year. So that is my other whip go that I will be stitching in July. So there we go. That's all my stitching. How many projects have I shown you? So I've shown you 8 new starts. I've shown you 2 whips, that's 10, and 3 whip goes that I've stitched on. So that's 13, plus my finish, 14. That's a lot. That's quite a lot of stitching, isn't it? I think this is going to be my longest floss tube for quite a while, actually, because we're just hitting an hour now. So not a huge amount more to tell you though, but just a couple of things. So first of all, plans. Well, the box of doom, we've already talked about that. I am going to be working on the box of doom to get some more fully finished objects done. So yeah, at some point they will come out and I will show you. As I mentioned, it is my friend Marianne's big birthday next week, and I'm very excited to be joining her in a stitch along for her birthday, and it's going to be my first long dog. It's not going to be a big long dog. It's going to be a big enough long dog. I am going to stitch Spirit of Clanfair PG. I love this one. So Elaine at Ellie Welly Stitcher has stitched this, and I also saw it. One of our friends, Sue, was stitching this at Cheshire Stitchers earlier in the year. So hopefully, yeah, I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm going to stitch it on a beautiful piece of purple fabric that my friend Alex gave me. Did she give me this for Christmas or my birthday? I think for my birthday last year, that she had dyed herself. She knows I love purple, and I have been experimenting with different threads up in the corner to decide what colour. I had a beautiful cottage garden thread, and it's just not coming up well enough. Then I've gone for another variegated one I had, and actually this one is my favourite, and it's just plain old 3713 DMC. But I think, the love spoons are really quite delicate, and I think with this fabric, with the beautiful mottling on this fabric, and it goes from kind of pink to purple, I think this pale pink will look beautiful. So that is going to be started next week for Marianne's big birthday start. So always wanted to do a long dog. There's still, I think at some point when I retire, maybe I'll want to do Saga or Pandemic or one of the really big ones, just to say that I've done one. But there are also a few There are also quite a few big ones of Jacobs of Modern Folk Embroidery that I really, really want to do as well. So yeah, you can't quite do everything, can you? Can't quite do everything. So also on the 1st of August, I am going to be starting Fancy Blackets. So we've got a Fancy Blacket group, which I'm a member of, which Elaine at Ellie Welly Stitch It invited me to last year. So I did my first Fancy Blacket last year, and there's a few other friends that stitch with us. And this year we are going to be stitching Humble Abode, and I love it. It's actually, I think it's quite poignant. It really reminds me of Elaine's chicken coop at her house. So I think it's a fabulous chart, so can't wait to get started on that on the 1st of August. Stitchy kindness, well, I'm really lucky. Thank you to the lovely ladies at Historic Sampler Company who have sent me the next cotton and twine box, and it's beautiful, beautifully wrapped as ever, but I need to show it to you because it's just an absolutely fabulous chart pattern this time round. So this is the July box. So orders are open now and they close on the 25th of July, and that's when it'll be dispatched. And this month is this beautiful design from Yasmin's Made with Love. So that says, busy as a bee, my needle and me. Absolutely, it's gorgeous, gorgeous. I am going to possibly be, let me show you the back, because actually that's a slightly bigger picture. I might be a little bit creative. One thing I love about Yaz's designs are the way she does her flowers. They're really pretty. I might take out the writing and move the flowers down. That is my thinking at the moment. I don't know. Just be a little bit creative with it. I know Yaz doesn't mind. I've changed charts before of Yaz's. Have I? What did I do differently in something? Oh, I can't remember now. I'm sure I've done something different in one of hers. She doesn't mind. I might take the writing out and just move the flowers down so that it's just the bee and the flowers. I can't decide yet. But, so, what comes with this month's box? So, you've got the chart, and that's in black and white. A lovely piece of Zweigart. So, it's not a massive, I think it'll probably go that way. Not a massive chart. So, I think I might just switch out the fabric on that one to be a smaller count. And my needle is wrapped up in there, so let's put it in the box, in the bag. So I love the little East of India bags that everything comes in these. And let's just see if I can unwrap these threads to show you the beautiful colours. There we go, so gorgeous. And I normally take these off, halve them, and then put them back on, because I'm just stitching with one strand. I'm happy to have a shorter thread, but lovely colours. And oh, the goodies this month, fabulous. Usual little teeth, which is great. So there is a frame for this one. So it's always great because these cotton and twine boxes, they always send something to help you with your finishing, whether it's fabric that you can then mount it on, you know, a piece of board, or a frame, or a hoop, which it's brilliant. Brilliant. So I've got a frame for that. And then now there's going to be a fight actually for these. I might have to hide them. These are Candy Kittens, so I think they are vegan. And they're sour watermelons. Now my daughter will love these. She loves sour watermelons. Yeah, I might have to hide them. And then a beautiful, beautiful little East of India little purse. Or you could use it as a, keep your threads in. Actually, it's nicely lined, so it might be perfect for a little pair of scissors. Might be great for if you're going stitching. If you're going on a holiday and going stitching, you could put in scissors and some clips and a little pencil. So really perfect little notions pouch maybe. So yes, I think it's a beautiful, beautiful box, and I'm looking forward to stitching that one. But yeah, might just change the fabric on that. So thank you very much to the ladies at Historic Sampler Society who have sent me the cotton and twine box this month. So the cotton and twine boxes, the cost of those is £20 if you want the Ada and £22 if you want the linen. So I've there got the linen, which is 32 count. There's my box falling over. There we go. So yeah, so pre-orders up until the 25th of July, and then they are dispatched on the 25th of July. If you haven't had one before, there is a code of 15% off by using the code FIRST15, and there are different ways of subscribing. So you can subscribe for those prices I've just said. That's a one-off price, but you can subscribe for 3 months, you can subscribe for 6 months, and the longer you subscribe, the price comes down. But they're fantastic value. I've really enjoyed stitching those boxes this year, and I'm so happy to show them to you because I like them. So I'm not. I have had a few companies contact me and ask me if I'd like to stitch something, or I think the latest one actually was a frame. Would I like to try their frame? And there's some I will and some I won't. If it's something I have. So talking about haul, my Lowry stand arrived, and I use it here at my stitching desk, and so far so good. I love that, absolutely love it. So I have no qualms about talking about that. And obviously I paid for this, but I will talk to you about it a little bit more. And one thing, I think when it arrived, it came in 2 pieces, and I was like, oh, what do I do with it? And I googled, and did anyone else have that problem with Lowry and thinking, well, how do I use it? I think there is a little video of how to put together the stand, but there wasn't on the table stand, and I was like, so I really had to figure it out myself. Would you think it's useful for me to just take it apart again and show you? Maybe. So if you got one, so that's a thought. Let me know what you think about that one. But really enjoying using it so far. So that was one bit of haul that I think I told you about that I'd ordered it at the Wrexham retreat, thanks to my friend Emma, and also a little bit of encouragement from Gay and Paula as well, who both had table stands there. And I think the debate had been, do I get a table stand or do I get an actual stand? And originally I thought I'm going to get a stand, and then I saw the table stands, and actually this is really suiting me. I may get an actual stand at some point, but we'll see. So that's a great bit of haul that I had last month, but arrived since I told you about it. I've also had a little bit of haul. So as you know, I am stitching some of the animal crackers with my friends from Cheshire Stitchers, and none of us had Lily, and I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to buy Lily. So Rachel, this has come from Rachel at Talking Dog Stitchery, and she had a little sale on at the time because it was her 1 year anniversary. So she was offering, I think, 20% off. So I bought that one. Of course, things can't travel alone. This is the one I told you about, the Blueberry Ridge design one. I'd had my eye on this for a while and thought, well, I'm going to get it. And actually these two, my friend Fanny had bought me a voucher for my birthday, and I hadn't yet spent it at Talking Dog Stitchery. So thank you very much, Fanny. That's what I got with your voucher. And of course, because then I had to kind of buy something else to up the postage, so I got free postage. I've been seeing Laura at Cotton and Clay, who's also, she Butterfly Stitches 83, maybe, her YouTube channel. She's been stitching the Primrose Cottage 12 monthly minis, and I really have enjoyed watching her stitch those and thought they were really pretty. And I thought, right, okay, that's a really good time to buy this little book. So unfortunately that sale isn't on any longer. However, I do have a code that if you would like to shop with Talking Dog Stitchery, if you use this code, it's Flossie 5, you can get a discount on your shopping. It's a minimum spend of £10, and I think you get 5% discount, and then I also get a little bit of commission from Rachel as well, so that benefits us both. So please do go and have a look at Talking Dog Stitchery. The link to the website is below, and again, use that code for a little bit of discount. But yeah, so really pleased with my little bit of haul from Rachel, and I think that's it. I think we've got to the end. An hour and 15 minutes later. Yeah. So a lot, yeah, there was just so much to talk about, so much to show you. I said to my partner this morning, if I don't film today, I'm not, I'm never going to film again, because it's just, everything's piled up so high now. I've just got to get it done and do it. And yeah, it's been lovely. I've really missed chatting to you, and thank you to the people who reached out to say you haven't filmed and where are you? Are you okay? And especially my best friend Anna, who, yeah, by I think quite early on Saturday morning was going, there wasn't a Flosstube release last night. Where are you? Are you okay? What's happened? And then I think that once I'd got better, she was like, I thought you might have filmed today. Is everything okay? You haven't had a relapse, have you? So thank you, Anna, and thank you everyone else that's messaged just to check in on me. All good now, all so much better. And yeah, it's going to be a busy July. July is really busy. School finishes on Thursday, and yeah, then we have got things to do. So I probably will not now come and chat to you until the end of July, very beginning of August. And but I'm sure there'll be stitching. I'm sure there'll be stitching done in that time. But yeah, and the allotment, I'll put some pictures in of the allotment, because it's just, we have had the biggest pea harvest. We've had so many peas. We've got loads of peas in the freezer. We've got courgettes coming like crazy at the moment. The green beans are in wonderful flower. We've got climbing runner beans, which are pink, and then we've got beautiful dwarf beans that are purple. The flowers are purple. So, you know, we have been busy there, and it's been great being out in the sunshine, being out in the fresh air. It's done me such good. And I think also, you know, I felt I just need, after my little scare of having to go to A&E, that was scary. You know, it was scary. It's scary. It's not nice seeing other people who are ill as well, which obviously you do in A&E. You're feeling ill too, and just, it was such a hot day, and it was just not pleasant at all. And I just thought to myself, just calm down, take a breath, just take a bit of time. You know, I've got to look after myself. I've got to look after myself. And I think Simon and I both sat in A&E, and you know, just said we kind of had the conversation of, we need to, you know, we're both in our 50s now. We want to live for a long time. We want to do things. We want to have adventures. Just, you know, need to take care of ourselves. So, you know, my first little bit of taking care of myself was taking a little bit of pressure off the accelerator, and just kind of prioritizing what needed to be prioritized and what really could wait 5 minutes. And yeah, just feel a little bit more relaxed, feel a little bit happier, a little bit healthier. And yeah, I think it's all, you know, there's got to be a really good balance, hasn't there, really, basically. So there we go. It's been so lovely to catch up with you. It's been so lovely to chat. I do hope you're doing well. I'd love to know what you're stitching on. So please tell me, A, what you're stitching on, B, if you're going to Big Stitch, C, if you're not going, what have you got a retreat planned for this year? I'm also going to stitch in London weekend 2. I'm really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to spending time with my friends Caroline and Fanny from France. Yeah, tongue twister. Fanny from France, especially because they're coming over to London for that. So yeah, good times ahead. Enjoy the sunshine if it's sunny where you are. Those of you who might be down the other side of the world, I hope it's not too cold and snowy in certainly maybe not in Australia, but maybe in New Zealand. Yeah, just wherever you are, I hope you're happy and healthy and enjoying your stitching. See you soon. Bye.